Welcome to the Doo Divas Smells Like Money podcast. I'm your host, Suzan Chin-Taylor, CEO and founder of Creative Raven, the firm that helps wastewater industry contractors and manufacturers unlock the power of digital marketing, AI, and PR to boost sales and opportunities. Whether it's through our online marketing and lead generation programs or providing a fully outsourced marketing department, we are passionate about helping businesses in the wastewater and civil infrastructure sectors not just survive, but thrive in today's digital world. Each episode, I'll be bringing you expert tips and strategies to help you grow and succeed. Let's dive in. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Doo Divas Smells Like Money podcast. Today, we are visiting with Josh Shelton, who is the president, CEO, founder, whatever, man of many hats, man of many talents of Inline Renewal Solutions and also Shelton Plumbing. And Josh has done something very unique in the industry in that he started out on one career path, but that created an evolution of sorts into the building of Inline Renewal Solutions, which is what we're going to be talking about today. And so we don't want to do a spoiler alert. We're going to take this journey together. So thank you, Josh, for your willingness to come on the show and share your story.
Yeah, thank you very much for being here. Yeah, it's an honor.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I think it was very interesting just to put it in context, maybe give our audience just a brief background on how you started in the industry,
Sure.
working for your dad, who was a master plumber, and then how it evolved into your Trenchless. And then we're going to start talking about the real big evolution and
Sure.
really spurn that.
Sure. No, that's great. I mean, that's a good, definitely a good place to start. And for the sake of time, because some of these stories, they're long stories. I've been following my dad's footsteps since I was a wee little guy, just as long as I can remember, always summer times helping my dad with plumbing. And I got to see the good, the bad, the ugly, and I didn't want to be a plumber when I was a kid, because I got to see some of the really nasty things. But once I grew up and kind of started hitting the job market and the job field, trying to think of, okay, I'm going to find something that I really enjoy, something that I'm called to do, or I didn't choose the college path, right? So I had some really good jobs. That was kind of really all they were. There wasn't a career path until one day my dad just said, "Hey, I'm gonna sell the business if you're not gonna take it over." And I spent the weekend just really contemplating my path in life. And 2 weeks later, I enrolled in plumbing school, and just started into that path. It was the right move. It was the right time because I was in a job that was, I mean, it was a good job. It was about it, but
Right.
it was not fulfilling. There was no future. I was even actually a couple weeks before that, I was even capped at, talked to my managers, "Hey, how do I advance?" And they're like, "No, there's no room for you to advance. There's nothing to do." So immediately went to plumbing school, started into the plumbing field. Uh, Definitely had a rocky road the first couple years just because I was young, I was arrogant, I thought I knew it all, and like most, you know, teenagers or early 20s, we think we got the world in the palm of our hands, and there's nothing that's going to stop us. And my dad, through a series of different situations, he was very gracious and kind, and to say the least, he was very hard on me though, because it's what a dad does. They want you to be the best. And to make this story quick, I was on a job once, trying to learn, back when we soldered still, and I'm soldering above my head, and water was still kind of coming through the piping, and I was struggling to get the solder to take on a fitting. And my dad came over and said, "Hey, let me show you what you do, what to do in this situation." And I kind of fired back at him, gave him a little bit of attitude, and that was not the best thing to do, especially that time. So I struggled for a little bit longer. I turn around and find out, I was like, where's my dad? Where'd he go? And I look outside and the truck's gone.
Oh, no.
And I was like, oh no, like what's going on here? So I knew we had a lot of work to do. I'm thinking, well, maybe he went to the supply house. Well, 4 hours later, he shows up and he just walked up to me calmly and he's like, are you ready to learn? And I'm here to teach you. And I remember from that day forward, the humbleness that kind of came over me, and I was just ready to learn. And I decided to be, just basically the best version of what I could be to support my dad, to help him. And instead of me trying to master it all right away, I realized because right at that time too, within 5 minutes, he did what I tried to do for hours. And
Wow.
and so it was just a real testimony to, okay, master plumber, apprentice, proven fact, he knows what to do in all these scenarios. So I spent a lot of years just trying to perfect what it meant to be a plumber. And I found that the skill set is something that I loved, but what I started into it and what I come to love even more was serving people. And that was something that I watched my dad closely. And for him, it wasn't about the actual plumbing. That was what he loved to do, but it was just the thought of getting to help people, or there's things that they can't do themselves, and we would take a lot of pride in how clean our job sites were and how everything had to be plumb and level and perfect and laser levels, and I mean, it was, my dad was a perfectionist, and even to this day still is. Um so to say the least, that those lessons though were lifelong learning lessons that have stemmed into where we've developed today into using this technology of trenchless, technology from Permaliner and Light Ray and Picote and other brands. Um, we got into a place where manufacturers were looking to us uh, to either test their equipment like prototypes, or hey, we have somebody in your region, would you be willing to train them? And again, things just kept developing really fast. But I look at it as I found new ways to serve the next plumber or the next customer or the next situation, the next business, and now we've developed this into a multi-million dollar distribution, sales, training facility, repair center, rental center. We have companies that hire us to do all kinds of things with Shelton Plumbing, from robotic cutting to sometimes they just need some tech support to be in a job to make it go smoothly. So my plumbing company also gets subcontracted, but Inline Renewal Solutions has developed into, um, I don't want to say we're exactly nationwide just yet, but we have definitely covered a broad northeastern and eastern side of the country, from Florida to Michigan, the Dakotas, Kentucky, a lot in Ohio, Pennsylvania, clearly up into Boston, New Jersey. We have customers everywhere, absolutely everywhere. So now we are these plumbers working for plumbers, and we get to support them in ways that I never had. I didn't have somebody to show me what to do and what not to do with this technology. I mean, we had the manufacturer, we had trainers, but
Right.
it's trial by fire. And you go out every day hoping for the best, and hoping that it works out. And so those lessons learned, I actually this morning taught a class to a group of trainees that are in here from another part of Pennsylvania. And not only do we teach the technical work, but we teach the business piece as well, the sales training,
Oh,
uh,
interesting. Okay. I wanted to get into that because that all comes back to, where you were saying I recognized in myself that I wanted to be of service.
yes,
And, that's your core driver, which I think is probably what led you to build this business.
yes,
And
ma'am.
so, what I want our audience to understand is, all right, you saw a need, you saw an unmet need in the market, probably because it was coming from your own unmet needs from the market. Like you were saying, that field training, yeah, you can get the manufacturer's training and you can look at the manual and everything looks clean. But everybody knows there's no such thing as a perfect project, except
That's
the one
right.
that hasn't started yet. And so that especially in treasure, anything can go sideways in a flash.
Definitely.
So I'd like you to kind of take us through, like what are you helping? I love this, plumbers helping plumbers. What are some of the core things that you are able to help plumbers with
Mm,
that they can't get just, not that the manufacturers don't want to, but they're just not set up to provide them when they decide they want to get into this type of repair or service offering, and
Right.
then maybe move on. You just touched on that. I want to come on to that second, is
Yep.
that you can be a great technician, but if you don't know how to be a good business person, you're not going to be profitable. And so let's touch on, like, what were the things that you felt as a plumber? Gosh, I wish that somebody could help me with this, that now you offer to plumbers.
Oh, sure. I mean, it comes down to, we as people learn best sometimes from the mistakes that we make.
Learn
And
from
those,
somebody else's mistakes. Yeah.
yeah, that's very true. So, I mean, really, in the world of learning to be a plumber or learning to be a doctor, I mean anybody, like, right, they call it practicing medicine, and we spend a lifetime trying to learn how to be better at what we do and better versions of what we do. So I spent a lot of years somewhat fumbling and learning some really hard lessons about what to do and what not to do. And to give you even just a snapshot of what my day looked like today before we started here this evening, um, full of tech support, full of but not all bad things. They were things like, hey, I'm going to send you a video of a sewer line, and I want to get your opinion, right? Because I'm not sure of the proper plan to how to approach the repair
Right.
to be quality, to be long lasting, and the underground infrastructure that we see in the country today, it's on borrowed time. There's so many areas.
Truth.
Yeah, so from cast iron to clay pipe to there's Orangeburg out there in some areas. There's a gentleman I talked to, Curtis, very frequently up in Michigan, and he's kind of become like an expert at lining Orangeburg and being able to rehabilitate it. And that's a very hard thing to do, extremely hard thing to do. And so that's the neat part about the industry is I don't know it all, and I'm not going to pretend to know it all, but the being an expert in my space, I don't even know if I like to call myself the expert because it's my experience. I've been able to use the technology that I have to be very, what I could say is would be successful with my plumbing company, and to be efficient, to not have many problems, to provide the best service for our customers. So if anything, it's not that I'm going to sit back and say I got it all figured out, but when we share our experiences, we can help somebody along that path to help them to not have to maybe learn the hard way and learn some tips and tricks along the way. So, my day did start off with teaching a class, and then it came through a series of phone calls, emails, text messages, equipment repairs, equipment rentals. Somebody needs material. I mean, we support companies from the two-man shops to the 18 location monsters that cover multiple states, and we train them because it does come down to the core fundamentals. It's not, again, I'm going to say that I know everything about everything, but we can break down what we do daily into very specific tasks that simplify the process, right? Sometimes we all overthink things too much and we miss what's right in front of us. And where trenchless lining, the technology, the prep tools, there's certain things that you do, and there's just certain things that you don't do. And sometimes you might go to a 180-page catalog and pick some things out that you think that you need, and it's the wrong thing. So those are just some of the little snapshots here of it is our daily. Uh, I would say it's an honor to be able to work with these people, because to help them to maximize their profitability, to build their teams. I just got a message here actually before we started. A company that I've trained twice wants to train six more people, and so we have our training facility here, and we're booked with 7 trainings right now in-house for this month of February. I have 3 more to try to figure out how to schedule, and they just consistently come in. And not all technical training. We have sales training, we have communication, project planning, we really dig deep into how does a company successfully deploy this technology And the only way to do it is, and I know anybody that's going to hear this is going to know that they might have heard this from me before, but it's like a sports team. You got to practice your plays to
Right.
be successful. Like, and that goes for almost any industry, any field, a carpenter, an electrician. You got to work hard at it. You got to learn new things. You got to have your people in your corner, whether it's a business coach for the business side, or you have, I mean, I got my dad, he's been a plumber for over 50 years. And, my guys and myself, we still call him up for, hey, John, I got this job, what do you think we should do here? So it's fun because it's in our nature to serve people. It's in our nature to help, to be helpful and to provide. So Inline Renewal Solutions has developed into be such uh, a core piece of businesses. And I mean that is because when we have this as a resource for these companies and they rely on that, now I can start to see too, like if one day, hey, we just disappeared, their whole business model changes because of direct access to materials, repairs, replacement equipment, new equipment, the training piece. We've trained one company in Kentucky, I think about 6 different times, but it was all related to either employee turnover or they just added more and more crews of people. And it's just such a unique thing because when we're part of that, we can continue to help that company to build and to build and to build and to build. And we have some small two-man shops, doing millions of dollars a year to some of these larger companies are doing tens of millions a year in this, in this industry with rehabilitating the underground infrastructure. So I'm very, very proud of my team and what Inline has become. But the last thing to kind of say here, it started from Shelton Plumbing. It started with,
Right.
there were 7 of us, my dad, my sister, and a couple technicians. And when we started with Trenchless, there was 3 of us doing lining, excavation, cleaning. We did it all. And now, we have multiple teams of people, and again, we're training 6, 7, 8, 10 companies a month sometimes, and it is so fast paced, and I see that this is the demand. This is the direction that I'm very, very passionate about, of plumbers helping plumbers, and or training, working, serving. Um, Sometimes I'm a little bit of a dreamer because I think of these broad ideas and these plans, but the coolest thing is this has become a reality, and chase your dreams, chase,
Absolutely. But what I found, and the reason why I really wanted to bring you on the show is that I think it's a really unique business model because a lot of folks, they'll either offer, okay, we're a training consultant,
mm,
or we're a supplier, or we're, equipment repair and service. But you decided to bring all of it under one roof. So that makes it so much more convenient for anybody that's coming to you because they've got one source to get everything that they need,
yeah,
one call away from whatever they might be facing. And it's also, when you were saying some of these smaller shops, what I think this is great to make people aware of the resource that you have built here is that as an entrepreneur, and you've probably felt it, I know I feel it as a business owner sometimes, is that you're on your own. You're the entrepreneur, you're the guy or gal that's got to make sure that you make the payroll on Friday, getting the jobs in the door, keeping all the balls in the air. And sometimes it just feels overwhelming to
mm,
do it yourself. And wow, isn't it nice to pick up the phone and have someone that you could bounce something off of to say, hey, I think this is what I should do. Because a lot of us, this, you have this tendency maybe sometimes to second guess yourself, but
yep,
it doesn't hurt to talk to another expert and to just know that you're really, what you've created here is a community.
mm,
You've
yeah,
created a community of people that help each other. And I think that that's so neat that you're a plumber, but you don't view that plumber that's coming to you for help as a competitor. You
no,
view it as someone that, okay, you want to do this. There's enough room for all of us.
mhm,
I help you, you help me.
100%. Yeah, even to touch point on some of that, you're exactly right. I mean, we work with dozens of companies within, you know, our own ecosystem, our own service area.
Mhm.
And we don't work with everybody, but they might not need us. There might be other resources out there that I'm not sure of. But at some point, from sewer cameras, we have Hawthorne sewer cameras. We repair them, we rent them, we sell them. So that's something that I'm very adamant about. That if we offer it, it's because we've used it. We
Mhm.
understand it. We're intimately involved with it. We know how to, again, to repair it, and we understand what it's like. Where if somebody only has one camera and their camera breaks, they need one. That's a lifeline now in the sewer industry. If you don't have a camera, I mean, you just can't operate like you used to years ago when my dad first started before cameras. And I remember that. I remember our first rigid camera changed everything for
Mhm.
how we were able to operate. And so yeah, that resource of and I have had some of these local plumbers tell me face to face after they got to know me of, hey, just want to let you know that when I first started talking to you, I felt it kind of strange because you are somewhat my direct competitor. But the day that they needed something and I was on their doorstep 30 minutes later with a piece of equipment or some material, or I drove to their job site, or I would come and pick up their equipment, get it repaired, and it's ready first thing tomorrow morning so they can get back to doing what they do best. And they need to provide. They need to make a living, and we get to be part of that. And even the companies that are within probably about 2, 3 hours of us, um, a lot of times they get to avoid the shipping costs because we stock all this material. That could be thousands, tens of thousands of dollars a year in shipping costs for all the equipment back and forth and materials. So again, even on the logistical shipping area, we're saving them money. We're helping them to be more successful. And they might not always recognize it or notice it, but that's how my team looks at our daily operations, is how do we do the next thing that we can support, the plumber, whether it's, every plumber uses disposable gloves or should. We sell gloves, we sell accessories, we sell Procom headsets that are communication headsets. Why? Because it's actually a safety thing. When you're on a job with a hydrojetter and it's blowing the engine's full steam ahead, and
Right.
and you got to yell over the sound of the machine. It could be a difference of life or death or just a serious injury. So you got to be able to communicate. So again, all of those things are what we've lived ourselves. Again, the equipment that we use, the equipment that we know, um, and it's such a cool feeling. I'm just going to be straight. It's such a cool feeling to be part of their lives, and again, they're just their teams of people. I have some business owners I talk to, general managers, technicians, installers, some young kids that, they've never picked up a machine before, and they get sent to training and they don't know what to do and where to go. And we get to be part of that path. So it's a really cool, really, really cool thing that we're here. And I'm
Well,
very excited.
I love it. And this is why I wanted to bring you on the show, because I think you're doing something really, really wonderful for the industry that needs to be done. That,
Agreed.
plumbers need to have resources. And, you can go to a business consultant, but it's not like dealing with someone who has been in the trenches just like you and knows what you're facing every day. It's
Yeah,
like, I feel you. I feel you. I am you. And
sure.
so, like we were saying earlier, learn from somebody else's mistakes. And when you were talking about competition, years ago, I had two former clients. They both since retired out of the industry, sold their businesses, but there was a huge contract that was coming out in the Southern California region. And neither one of them, because of all the work that was going to be involved, they spec'd that they needed it done in a certain way. It needed to be done at night. It was easement work in, environmentally sensitive areas. Had to do it when the flows, and they had to have enough crew in order to get it done by a specific amount of time, because I think there was some EPA governances involved, that you had to be able to work around the clock in
Hmm.
order to get it done by the consent that was under, it was part of a consent decree. That's right, to this consent decree. So both of them wanted this job, but they looked at it and they went, but I don't have the means to do it by myself.
Hmm.
You don't have the means to do it by yourself. You and I have an identical equipment and configurations and software. Why don't we go in on the bid together?
Sure.
So co-op, they went in on the bid together. They won. They worked at it. They made a lot of money on it together. And that was the first one. And there were many others after that. And these two guys became really, really good friends.
Yeah.
Just like not business wise, but also outside, And so these are the kind of things that can happen in our industry if people are just open to looking at their relationships with their peers in the industry in a different way. And
100%.
so you've certainly done that. And so, Josh, again, thank you for what you are bringing to the table for your peers. And so for those who are listening that would like to know more about what you're doing as far as your training, all the different things that you offer, how can they learn more? What's the best way to find out more?
Oh, sure. We are in the middle of a very large website overhaul right now.
Okay.
So we do have a new website that should be launching very soon, probably
Okay.
within the next couple of weeks. And that's going to have a lot of informational forums, submission, obviously, email, phone call. I have a marketing team, sales team, inside sales team. We have our Sean, our repair technician. I mean, everybody answers the phone at all hours, sometimes of the night. And so for people to reach out to find more, our website will be a great source of information. But for now, I mean, they can even call our main number and get in contact with somebody, whether it's again for sales, repairs, tech support, training. But we will have dedicated portals for all of it. If somebody wants to inquire about training, they'll be able to go straight there, submit a form. If they need rental equipment, if they need on-site tech support in the field, we'll have all the avenues to make it very simple for them to submit a request form.
So, Josh, if people want to get a hold of you, can you please give us that domain name and the best number for them to call?
Yes, ma'am. It'll be inlinerenewalsolutions.com. And our phone number, our direct phone number to our office is 724-393-0383.
And Josh and I connected through some industry friends, but also he's very active on LinkedIn. And so look him up on the web and reach out to him with your questions. As a matter of fact, offline before we were on the podcast, I actually gave his number to a client of mine who has nothing to do with pipeline renewal, but had one of his customers. He's a civil engineer who came looking for some advice on how to deal with some pipelines. And first person I thought, well, ask Josh. He might be able to point you in the right direction and see if you're on the right track. So he's a phenomenal resource. And audience, if you are a plumber or someone involved in Trenchless, I encourage you to reach out to Josh, become friends, find out what he is all about, share information, because that's really, at the end of the day, that's how we keep this industry strong. And so thank you again, Josh, for what you are doing and being of service. And for those of you listening, thank you for sharing your time with us today. And until next time, keep it flowing. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. If you're ready to take your marketing to the next level and start increasing sales and opportunities for your business, reach out to us at Creative Raven. We're here to help you thrive in the digital landscape. Visit creativeraven.com or click the link in the show notes below to schedule a call and learn how we can support your growth. If you enjoyed the insights on today's episode, be sure to hit subscribe so you'll never miss an update. Until next time, keep growing and keep it flowing.